Yeah, so it's a disease, like it absolutely is, and there's terrible things that happen to people, and I fight that every day, right? That's a war I'm going to wage for the rest of my life, but it doesn't have to be from a position of victimhood, right? And I know that I'm lucky that I'm able to say that. I found myself a nurse practitioner who was very kind. That was my first encounter with the healthcare system that wasn't negative. I was finally diagnosed with clinical depression. I was finally diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My blood sugar levels were not quite off the charts, but like absolutely dangerous. It took me a few months to sort of like find myself at the very bottom of the barrel, where I'd survived, a suicide attempt, and was eventually released from the psychiatric unit and decided, okay, well, I guess this means I'm going sober. It began this whole healing process ultimately, right? And I started, that's when I started riding a bike. I started riding a bike like, 100, 150 kilometers a week. I couldn't ride enough, and I started eating, better. I wasn't drinking, so I've chosen endurance sport as a means to manage diabetes, in addition to thinking about food in different ways, seeing it as fuel, more so than comfort, I suppose. Like, I think sugar's awesome. I think it's a lot of fun, and I don't not eat sugar, but I understand its function and how it serves me or how it doesn't. I think that part of surviving means sort of having that understanding of what healing actually is, right? And when you start eating better, you start sleeping, you start crying, you start praying, you start like riding a bike, you start running, or whatever it is you do, you can look at the mental, right? Because you're dealing with the physical. It's time to look at the mental. Why am I so sad? Why am I so suicidal? Why do I want to die? It's because I was taken. I never knew my parents, right? I never knew my family, I never knew my community. And that is such an important part of what it is to be Indigenous. It's about sort of turning this, is this something I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life, into, is this a really cool thing that I'm going to be doing for as long as I can, right? That's why I sort of feel like sometimes diabetes is a real gift. It was really a sad, devastating day when I found out that I had it, but I wouldn't be here had that not happened. This is, I've never been happier. I've never felt more sort of a part of something. That wouldn't have happened had I not been having to deal with this forever, right? So I think that by looking at it in a new way, in a different lens, in a sort of positive sort of like, yeah, life sucks. Like, sucks for everyone. No one wants to pay bills. No one wants to do all these things that we have to do, right? I get it. But life can be so much more than just kind of living it. It can be really enjoyed.